II engulfed the globe, a hidden battle emerged at New York's docks. The devastating Pearl Harbor attack, the Day of Infamy, propelled America into war. Public fear and government suspicions surged, centering on the waterfront, a vital artery for military logistics. The stage was set for a shadowy conflict, intertwined with the war effort to unfold along the city's bustling port. Sabotage haunted the war effort, as seen in the French liner Normandy's tragic fate, commandeered by the U.S. and rechristened USS Lafayette.
With great satisfaction that I now turn the USS Lafayette over to you, acting for the Commandant of the Navy Yard, New York, with the knowledge that this ship will soon be returned to useful service.
Captain Manso, on behalf of the Commandant of the Navy Yard, New York, I accept the USS Lafayette.
The ship fell victim to a mysterious fire on February 9, 1942, during its conversion into a troop transport. Engulfed in flames, the once majestic vessel capsized at New York City's Pier 88, never fulfilling its intended purpose.
During her conversion into a troop transport, fire breaks out in the 83,000-ton liner Normandy, recently renamed Lafayette. Investigators established, apparently beyond all doubt, that the sparks which started the fire came from an acetylene blow lamp. Although all suggestions of sabotage have been officially discounted, the whole business sounds mighty strange.
Amplifying the pervasive fear of Nazi saboteurs plotting to undermine the Allied cause from within. Against this grim backdrop, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed Executive Order 9066 on February 19, 1942. The order mandated the forced removal and internment of over 120,000 Japanese Americans from the West Coast. They were confined to remote camps, facing harsh living conditions. Simultaneously, 600,000 Italian Americans endured severe restrictions. Curfews and movement limitations were imposed. Forced relocation from coastal homes became a reality. Everyday items like radios and cameras, potentially used for espionage, were confiscated. Property and business constraints further compounded their hardships. This dark period in history saw the rights and freedoms of many unjustly stripped away. Amid these dark hours, an unexpected alliance emerged to protect New York Harbor. A man, more notorious for his underworld involvement than acts of courage, became a crucial figure in America's defense. This surprising collaboration defied an era dominated by fear and prejudice. The true motivations behind his actions remained a subject of intense debate, inviting further exploration into this complex chapter of history. Having explored deeply into the intersections of organized crime and wartime strategy, I've uncovered some surprising revelations. How did America come to depend on Lucky Luciano, one of its most infamous mobsters, in its moment of greatest danger? Get ready to explore the shocking story of a man whose pivotal actions altered the course of the war and solidified his dual legacy. As both a guardian of New York's docks during wartime and a notorious underworld figure. Rewind to 1907. The Luciano family, bearing young Salvatore, arrives in New York City, escaping the harsh poverty of Sicily. The streets of the Lower East Side, far from the promised land of opportunity, are filled with challenges and riddled with corruption. Young Salvatore quickly learns that survival in this new world means adapting to the hidden side of a busy city. As the young boy's innocence fades amidst the street activity, he begins to understand the brutal language of power and fear. The harsh realities of immigrant life in America teach him that only the clever and strong succeed here. As he navigates through his formative years, the rough streets become both his school and battleground, molding him into a figure destined to leave a clear imprint on the history of organized crime. During his youth, he was already engaged in petty theft, ran protection rackets, organized illegal gambling, and demonstrated charismatic leadership within local gangs, quickly marking him as a rising figure in New York's underworld. By his teenage years, now rechristened as Charlie by his friends, he earned his stripes in these local gangs. His cleverness and charm further carved his path deeper into the world of organized crime, setting the stage for a legendary rise. His sharp intellect and ruthless ambition soon drew the attention of the city's most feared mobsters, marking him as both a potential ally and a threat. As he maneuvered through the dangerous waters of the mafia's internal politics, he gained a reputation for his bold actions and strategic thinking. His journey through the ranks is not merely about survival, but about mastering the art of influence and control in a world where loyalty is scarce and power is the ultimate currency. His early exploits lay the groundwork for his transformation into a powerful underworld figure, known and feared by many. The 1920s roar with the winds of prohibition. In this chaos, Charlie Luciano, now a powerful mob figure, sees unmatched opportunity. Merging ruthlessness with sharp strategic insight, he begins to transform the mafia's outdated operations into a modern, efficient criminal enterprise. 1929 brings a chilling night of betrayal. He is brutally attacked, abducted, and subjected to a harsh beating, meant to end his life. Yet luck has other plans for him. Left for dead on a lonely Staten Island beach, he miraculously survives. This night marks a crucial change, not just in his life, but in the records of mob history. For from this night onward, he becomes known as Lucky Luciano. As he recovers, his determination hardens and his focus sharpens. The underworld, once cautious, now views him with a mix of respect and fear, acknowledging his exceptional will to survive and overcome challenges. His scars, stark reminders of his brutal battles, enhance his fearsome visage. His drooping eye, not merely a result of his criminal escapades, but from a severe beating that nearly claimed his life, has become a symbol of his intimidating presence. A critical moment that underscored his resilience and indomitable spirit. This dramatic transformation not only boosts his reputation, but also solidifies his standing within the mob, attracting more followers and loyalists and elevating him from a mere survivor to a revered and powerful leader. As word of his survival and prowess spreads across the neighborhoods, his newfound fame sets the stage for his next, most ambitious move. Energized further, he is determined to assert his vision over the chaotic criminal landscape. In the early 1930s, Luciano's rise in the New York underworld reached a turning point during the Castellamarese War, a violent conflict between rival bosses Joe the Boss Masseria and Salvatore Maranzano. Initially siding with Masseria, Luciano shifted allegiances as the war progressed, seizing an opportunity to reshape the power dynamics. His pivotal decision led to Masseria's assassination in 1931. Shortly after, Luciano orchestrated Maranzano's demise upon discovering a plot against his own life. These calculated moves cleared the way for Luciano to establish the Commission later that year, a groundbreaking syndicate designed to govern the mafia nationwide. By forming a unified front, it aimed to stop ongoing family wars, fundamentally transform organized crime in America, and cement Luciano's legacy as a visionary leader. This new structure included leaders from the 5 families of New York: the Bonanno, Colombo, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese families, intended to cooperatively oversee and manage all mafia activities in the United States. Each family retains independence over their operations, while contributing to and benefiting from a collective fund that manages mutual interests such as legal protection, dispute arbitration, and business ventures, including prostitution. The establishment of this mafia unity effectively ends traditional gangsterism, replacing it with a modern and orderly network of criminal enterprises. This bold move not only strengthened his power, but also drastically changed the landscape of organized crime. Under his leadership, the syndicate evolved into a corporate-like organization, signaling a new era of structured efficiency within the chaotic criminal underworld. By prioritizing profitability and reducing violent outbreaks through negotiation rather than bloodshed, his approach reshaped the operational dynamics of organized crime. His ability to unite rival bosses at the negotiation table not only solidified his status as America's most powerful mobster, but also set a standard that would define the mafia for decades to come, demonstrating his influence and strategic genius. The streets were no longer safe. Crime was everywhere, permeating every aspect of everyday life. Parents feared for their children's future as lawlessness became widespread. As the truth about his notorious criminal enterprises became known, public outrage erupted. Amidst the chaos, Thomas Dewey, a brave prosecutor, joined forces with Fiorello LaGuardia, the well-liked mayor of New York City. LaGuardia, known for his tough stance against crime, embodied the city's desperate need for a hero. Together, they formed a determined alliance, targeting Lucky Luciano, the mastermind behind the criminal organizations terrorizing the city. Combining Dewey's legal skills with LaGuardia's political influence, the pair embarked on a tireless quest for justice, vowing to dismantle Luciano's empire and reclaim New York from organized crime. United, they stood ready to face the challenges ahead in their mission to restore safety and order, offering hope for a brighter future. Under Dewey's leadership, a special task force was assembled in 1936 to dismantle Luciano's extensive network after Dewey named Lucky Luciano public enemy number 1. This designation highlighted the seriousness of his crimes and galvanized public support for decisive action. The team faced a tough task, unraveling the complex web of operations that were shielded by layers of corruption and intimidation. Despite these challenges, they pushed ahead, driven by a mandate from an outraged public demanding justice. As their investigation progressed, the task force uncovered a wealth of evidence, from financial records to direct accounts from former associates, now turned informants. Among the findings were documents detailing his brothel operations, which were highly profitable, generating over $10 million annually, a figure equivalent to about $200 million in today's dollars. This substantial sum was part of a broader criminal empire that included Meyer Lansky, Luciano's close associate, whose estimated worth of $20 million before fleeing Cuba is equivalent to $184 million today. The media played a crucial role, eagerly broadcasting each development and emphasizing the immense scale of their criminal operations. On February 2, 1936, Lucky Luciano was arrested, marking the beginning of a significant legal battle. Although he was involved in a variety of criminal activities, authorities could only gather sufficient evidence to prove his involvement in running a prostitution ring. This became a major focus of Dewey's campaign against organized crime in New York City. As the trial date approached, Dewey prepared to use the full force of the evidence gathered, ready to expose the harsh realities behind Luciano's empire. The trial was as much about public morality as it was about criminal justice. As the trial progressed, his defense crumbled under the weight of his own bad reputation. June 7, 1936, marked a watershed moment in American criminal justice, as Lucky Luciano was found guilty on 62 counts of compulsory prostitution. He was charged as a major figure in a prostitution ring that exploited and controlled over 5,000 prostitutes, making substantial profits from this illicit business. This decision was hailed as a triumph of justice and celebrated by law enforcement officials, who viewed it as a landmark achievement in the ongoing battle against organized crime, symbolizing a societal stand against widespread corruption. The public felt a measure of satisfaction as Luciano was led away, his destiny determined by the very system he once controlled. Meanwhile, deep within the shadowy corners of the underworld, there was a clear sense of shock and mourning. A powerful titan of the mafia had fallen. The trial, often dubbed the trial of the century, highlighted extensive criminal activities linked to his organized crime operations, leading to his conviction and a long prison sentence of 30 to 50 years. Yet, unknown to those who thought this was the end of his influence, his story was far from over. As World War II escalated, an unexpected door opened for Lucky Luciano to form an alliance with the U.S. government. After his conviction in 1936 and subsequent imprisonment, Lucky Luciano found himself in an unlikely position as World War II escalated. Even behind bars, his grip on the mafia and the New York docks remained unbroken, a testament to the reach of his influence. In a move filled with desperation and irony, the U.S. Navy and the Office of Naval Intelligence approached Luciano for assistance. They recognized the extent of his connections within the organized crime network and acknowledged that his influence was essential in safeguarding the New York waterfront against potential sabotage by Nazi forces. This secret cooperation, known as Operation Underworld, began around 1942. Luciano, a man known for getting things done, used his mob mentality and tactics to secure the docks. He acted as both judge and jury on potential saboteurs, leveraging his crime network's reach and methods to protect national interests. In exchange for his crucial role in this operation, the U.S. government agreed to significantly reduce Luciano's prison sentence. From behind bars, he orchestrated a detailed surveillance and protection scheme, with his men patrolling the docks and reporting any suspicious activities directly to the Navy. He used his influence within the Italian-American community and the underworld to help ensure the security of the harbors, orchestrating a detailed surveillance and protection scheme. His men patrolled the docks, reporting any suspicious activities directly to the Navy, effectively reducing the risk of sabotage and demonstrating his capability to transcend the bounds of legality for national security. Under Luciano's command, the New York docks transformed into impenetrable strongholds. Dock workers loyal to him became vigilant guardians against espionage and sabotage, ensuring the uninterrupted flow of crucial supplies to Allied forces. This cooperation showcased the extraordinary measures the U.S. was willing to take to advance the war effort and protect the homeland. His surprising dedication to national security challenged the public's perception of his character and motives, marking a unique contribution to wartime history and demonstrating a mobster's potential for patriotic acts. This secret collaboration underscored his shift from a feared mobster to an indispensable ally, even as it raised questions about the blurred lines between criminality and patriotism in times of crisis. The irony of Luciano's transformation is not lost on those aware of his criminal past, but the undeniable results earned him a complex legacy. A man who straddled the worlds of organized crime and national defense, leaving an indelible mark on both. With the formal surrender of Germany on May 7, 1945, and Japan on September 2, 1945, World War II officially ended. Luciano's critical involvement in safeguarding the New York waterfront from sabotage through Operation Underworld played a decisive role in the U.S. government's decision to commute his sentence, recognizing his contributions to the war effort. Originally sentenced in 1936 to serve 30 to 50 years, he only served about 10 years of his sentence after he was granted executive clemency, a form of official pardon, by New York Governor Thomas E. Dewey in 1946. The public, unaware of this secret collaboration, was stunned when news of Luciano's early release surfaced. Many questioned the government's decision to work with a notorious criminal, while others grudgingly acknowledged the necessity of such unorthodox alliances in times of war. As we revisit the distant echoes of World War II, the moral complexities of Luciano's contributions prompt us to question how society reconciles the actions of a known criminal in service of a greater cause. Was Luciano a patriot, a villain, or perhaps both? These questions challenge us to rethink traditional lines between good and evil and what it means to be a hero in times of crisis. The morality of war intertwines with the notion of a criminal paying his debt to society. raising questions about the righteousness of the U.S. government's decision to employ such a controversial figure. This dilemma not only highlights the complex decisions faced during dire times, but also invites us to ponder the true cost of victory and redemption. In times of great danger, the lengths to which our government will go to defeat formidable enemies and protect the homeland underscore a precarious balance between ethical boundaries and national security. Luciano's story forces us to reconsider the sacrifices made in the name of victory and the true cost of redemption. On February 10, 1946, Lucky Luciano was deported to Italy, leaving behind a legacy that forever altered the structure of organized crime and the American criminal justice system. As the New York skyline faded into the horizon, a haunting question lingered. Had America made a deal with the devil, or found a guardian in its darkest hour? Despite his deportation, Luciano's influence endured. He managed to oversee the formation of the world's largest heroin-exporting rackets, including the notorious French Connection, expanding his reach beyond the American Mafia. The Commission, founded by Luciano in 1931, continued to be a significant part of organized crime lore for over 50 years, even as its power began to wane in the mid-1980s. His profound impact on both the underworld and national security continues to stir debate and prompt reassessment of the mob's role in American society. The complexity of Lucky Luciano's actions during wartime, a blend of desperation, strategic alliances, and unexpected heroism, challenges conventional views on crime and warfare, compelling us to question whether the ends can ever truly justify the means.